The Earth is about 6,000 years old. Our planet keeps traces of a gigantic water disaster that happened only 4,350 years ago. The supercontinent Pangaea have split. Thousands of volcanoes awakened. The planet's ring of fire appeared. The whole Earth is surrounded by a crack. It is a large underwater ridge, divided in the middle by a cavity through which groundwater cut its way at the beginning of the flood. As shown on the topographical relief globe, the crack that torn off 3 continents starts in northeastern Israel, runs along the bottom of the Jordan Valley, crosses the Sea of Galilee, the Dead Sea, then the crack forms a valley between the Dead Sea and the port city of Eilat. Then it turns and shapes the bottom of the Red Sea, goes across the Gulf of Aden to the Indian Ocean. Here the crack branches out, leads to eastward, tearing Antarctica away from Australia, crosses the Pacific Ocean, enters the continent near the California Peninsula in Mexico, continues along the California coast, where it is called the San Andreas Fault, and stretches all the way to Alaska. Then it passes through the Aleutian Islands, Kamchatka Peninsula, Japan, Vietnam, the Philippines, New Guinea, Samo. In Samo, it turns 90 degrees, and it meets itself. The crack goes around Africa from the south, runs in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, following the shape of the continent, and ends near the North Pole. Everyone can see with their own eyes this material evidence of a terrible global catastrophe. Evolutionists believe that a whole land split about 120 million years ago, but scientifically proven that it took 1 year. The proof is the double continental shelf. This is the underwater edge of the separated continents. The first shelf, the depth increases to 1.5 kilometers, then a sharp precipice, and the depth increases to another 1.5 kilometers. This is possible if destructive events develop very rapidly. There were shallow seas on the primordial Earth, and in the bowels of the planet there was the 1.5 kilometer layer of superheated water. In 1656, from the creation of the Earth, the waters burst out, and the seabed sank. They swapped places. Sinking down, the entire ocean floor broke off along the edge of the continental shelf and sank 1.5 kilometers down. As a result of a sharp global catastrophe, a double continental shelf has appeared. Pay attention on the double shelf from India to Australia. South of Indonesia, the double shelf stretches along the Aleutian Islands, between the Gulf of Alaska and Kamchatka. There is also a double shelf along Kamchatka, Japan, China, and Vietnam. This is material evidence that the entire bottom of the Pacific Ocean sank by 1.5 kilometers during the flood very quickly. Today, scientists know that the Earth's crust still contains 6 or even 10 times more water than the surface. This water still comes out of the bowels of the Earth during volcanic eruptions. North of the equator,